Hello, this is Barney with Russell Real Estate, and today I'm going over some good news from CNBC. It's an article titled Fed's Favorite Inflation Gauge rose 0.2% in December and was up 2.9% from a year ago. So this article, it came out on Friday. I'm reading it on Monday, January 29th. And basically, this is just good news. It's hard to live in the United States and not be aware of inflation and the Federal Reserve over the past, basically a year and a half to 2 years. And, we started seeing inflation increase to the highest rate in decades. And a lot of that was pandemic fueled, and it was also Federal Reserve, fueled as well, with their quantitative easing and low federal funds rate for probably too long, honestly. Well, that all changed in 2022. So basically in June 2022, that's when we saw CPI probably, I think it was 9 or 10% for inflation. And that was scary news for a lot of people because the Federal Reserve leading up to that, as inflation was going up and up, they kept saying, oh, this is transitory. Oh, this is, it's only here temporarily. It's going to go away. And it didn't go away. It kept getting worse. So that's when they really started being aggressive with their federal funds rate. And they hiked it like 11 times in a row or something like that. So, finally, they've paused as we've gotten inflation much more under control, and it's really getting closer to what the Fed is targeting, which they typically try to aim for about 2% inflation per year. And right now, with the the PCE, my gosh, I'm struggling today. The PCE, which is the personal consumption expenditures, that's a price index that the Fed likes to use over CPI. It was up 2.9% on a yearly basis. So very, very good numbers there as we are trending in the right direction. And everybody seems to be pretty optimistic heading into 2024. We had been talking about a recession coming for the past couple of years, honestly. And it never really came. In fact, as we look throughout this article here, you'll see, I'll go down further. One of the interesting parts that I read here was this paragraph right here. It's hard to say which is more remarkable, that GDP, which is the gross domestic product growth, accelerated last year in 2023, following the Fed's most aggressive tightening campaign in decades, or that core inflation nevertheless fell back to the 2% target in annualized terms over the second half of the year. So, it's ridiculous that we still saw the GDP increase last year, and we're seeing inflation tick down. So those are both signs of a strong economy, and but it's not overly strong where it's concerning. And basically what Andrew Hunter, the deputy chief economist at Capital Economics, said was, either way, it's time for Fed officials to take the win and start dialing back the level of policy restrictiveness soon. So again, they have been pushing this quantitative tightening for about 18 to 24 months now, where they've been pushing that. And really, they need to start easing that up slowly but surely. And obviously, you don't want to be too rash and overcompensate in the wrong direction, because you want inflation to just go away and stay away. But that's basically what we're looking at here. And if that's, if this is the way that we're trending, it basically says that They are expecting 6/4 percentage point decreases this year. So out of the times that the Fed meets, they're expecting the price for the rate for the federal funds rate to be decreased about 1/4 percentage point 6 times or during 6 of their meetings this year. So that would be great if they did that. I think that it would open up a lot of things for our economy, but not to the point where it's going to add to inflation again. So how does this affect housing and real estate? Because I am a real estate agent. Well, ultimately, the federal funds rate does not directly correlate with the 30-year interest rate or anything like that, but indirectly, it does because of how expensive or inexpensive the bank-to-bank financing portion is going to be. So if we see the Fed start making cuts on the Fed funds rate, ultimately that's going to be a good sign for home buyers because interest rates will, follow suit basically and go down, but also for home sellers because you're going to have more buyers that are able to qualify for a mortgage if interest rates are lower. So that's my take on it, my 2 cents on it. If you have any questions, whether it's economics, that's probably not my strong suit, and I should have probably prefaced this video with that. Or if you have questions about the real estate market, particularly in the greater Cleveland area or Northeast Ohio, send me a message. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have or just to have a nice conversation. This is Caleb Barney with Russell Real Estate, and have a great day.